Quickly, before I begin the stream, if you're here watching this live, can you tell me that you can hear me? Just let me know in the comments very quickly so I know that everything is okay. We had an incident last week, and I want to make sure that you can actually hear me. So I'm going to sit here until someone responds and tells me if you can hear me. Otherwise, I'm going to do it with no sound. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, let's start it. Does Juan Soto regret going to the Mets? This is the big storyline. We have to discuss it, and I will, coming up next on a live edition of Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm your host, Stacey Gotsulias. Brian will be back tomorrow. He's on his way back from the Dominican Republic. If you're new to the show, I am a lifelong Yankee fan. My dad was born in the Bronx. He would have disowned me if I didn't become a Yankee fan. I've been writing about the Yankees and talking about the Yankees for the past 15 years now. And my writing has appeared on ESPN. I've been in the Baseball Prospectus Annual. I've been in the Hardball Times Annual. So in case you wanted to know why is Stacey hosting the show, that's why. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. We passed 8,800 subscribers earlier today. Thank you very much for that. On today's show, we'll be previewing Tuesday's game between the Yankees and the Rangers. We're going to discuss everyone's favorite subject, Anthony Volpe versus Oswald Peraza. We're going to take a trip back in time and talk about things, because why not? But first, okay. I don't know how to tackle this. So reports came out that Juan Soto is not that happy being with the Mets. And I will admit, I was watching the videos that came out Friday before Friday's Subway Series game. I saw how he reacted to seeing Aaron Boone and various other coaches and other players, and he looked so happy. Now, I will admit, I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention to the Mets. I wasn't paying attention to Soto before the Subway Series. I'll be real with you. I had Soto and Mets muted on social media because I just didn't even want to hear about anything. So I really didn't know how he was doing with the team. I didn't really see many stories about it, so I figured everything was okay. And then it comes out on Monday, at least according to Michael Kay, two-time guest of Locked On Yankees, Michael Kay, that Soto is not happy with the Mets. And he's looking glum around the clubhouse. And then Bob Klapisch also wrote an article. And here's where I feel bad for Juan Soto, because there's part of me that doesn't feel bad for Juan Soto. You're making $800 million. Good for you. That part of me doesn't feel bad for you. Because, you know, the rest of us are living paycheck to paycheck. You have $800 million. But there's a part of me that feels bad because heading into the series, you knew that everyone was going to watch Juan Soto. No one was going to care about anyone else during this series. They were going to watch every single move he makes. Hence, the videos that they took of him at batting practice and how happy he looked with the Yankees. And they picked it apart and examined it like it was the Zapruder film from the JFK assassination. So this is what Kay said on his show. This is what I find interesting. He said, people that I talk to on the Mets side, and they can deny it publicly because, of course, that's what they have to do. He is very, very glum around the clubhouse. This was according to Awful Announcing, what Kay said. He does not have a hop in his step. He does not smile much. I'm not going to say he's unhappy, because how can you be unhappy with an $800 million contract? But money is not a guarantee that you're going to feel comfortable somewhere. Kay also claimed that Soto wanted to stay a Yankee and that his family pushed him to sign with the Mets because they felt comfortable around Alex and Steve Cohen. Remember when all this happened? And there's a lot of talk around this weekend during this past weekend during the Subway Series. that Yankee fans were overreacting to Juan Soto. He was only there a year. People were comparing it to different things. One person compared it to a one-night stand. I think it was Nick Totoro said that. So you shouldn't expect him to stick around. But here's the thing. As Yankee fans, we're obnoxious, right? We are. We can admit that we're obnoxious. We think we're the best. We think everything is the best. And especially when it comes to Yankees against Mets. We're big brother, they're little brother. And when little brother stole Juan Soto from the Yankees by offering him more money, that was a big blow to the collective Yankee fan ego. It was. You could admit it. I admit it. How dare he go from the Yankees to the Mets? To the Mets, and then say all those things that he was saying about the Mets. Oh, they have a better chance of winning in the future. We know the real reasons why Juan Soto went to the Mets. It's not just because his family was comfortable with Alex and Steve Cohen. It's the money and the fact that he would be the number one guy. He wouldn't be the number one guy on the Yankees. Aaron Judge is the number one guy. Once Judge retired, because Judge is considerably older than Soto, he's like a good 6 years older than him. Once Judge retired, if Soto signed a 15-year, $765 million contract with the Yankees, he'd be the number one guy for the latter part of that contract if he stuck around, right? Because there were opt-outs and there are things going on with the Mets contract, which I'm sure probably would have happened with the Yankee contract. So on the one hand, these reports have to feel good for Yankee fans, right? Because all winter long, you were hearing from Met fans, he chose us over you. That was a big win for Mets fans and for the Mets, because when in history has a free agent chosen the Mets over the Yankees after playing with the Yankees for a year and taking them to a World Series? He's the reason the Yankees made the World Series. He hit the series winning home run in Cleveland. And then he turns around and he goes to the Mets. And now there are all these reports that he's unhappy. And I'm sorry, there's a part of me who's gleeful about this. There's also the empathetic part of me that feels bad for him, because if he is unhappy, it's his own doing, but you don't want someone to feel unhappy. There were also issues during the Subway Series. Like the first night, he looked like he was having fun with it. But then as things kept going on and Yankee fans weren't relenting and they were really letting him know, because, it's not all the same people that go to 3 separate games. You do have some who go to all the games, but it's a new crowd. It's all sellouts. And there are new people telling you that they don't like you anymore, that you suck, that you turned your back on us. Is it a little obnoxious? Sure. And I think by Sunday night, he had had enough. And I can understand, because you don't want 40,000 people. Well, not 40,000, because there were some Met fans there, but you don't want a number of people screaming at you like that and getting the Jose Altuve treatment. The other issue with Soto is on Sunday, he didn't hustle on a single. DJ LeMahieu made a really good play, but he could have beaten that out if he ran. But he did the same thing on Monday night against the Red Sox. So now the Mets are going to have to talk to him about that. And you could see it in his body language, sort of, that he doesn't seem that happy. And it's interesting that they're saying his family pressured him into it. And if that's the case, I do kind of feel bad for him. Let me know in the comments if you feel bad for him. In that sense, I know you don't feel bad about the money, because, I would love to have $800 million. I wouldn't know what to do with it. I'd probably give it mostly to my family and friends and help them out. And also, he skipped out on the media after Sunday's loss, because that's when the non-hustle play happened against the Yankees. But then he talked to the media on Monday in Boston after the same thing happened. He hit a ball that hit the monster, and it was only a single because he kind of hot dogged it. It happens. It happens. Other players have done that. But I just find this whole thing interesting because, again, I wasn't paying attention to the Mets or Soto. Good for you. You went with them. Have a nice rest of your career with them. I wasn't paying attention to it. And of course, you had to pay attention to it this weekend. And I just find it interesting that now this news is coming out. And Met fans aren't happy about it, because they were crowing all season long, crowing about Soto choosing them being better than the Yankees and having a better record, predicting that they were going to sweep the series. And then they come out losers of 2 out of 3. Juan Soto's unhappy, and Pete Alonso can't throw the ball. things happen. We'll see what happens in July. The Yankees could go to Citi Field and lose 2 out of 3, July 4th weekend. And then it'll be the opposite. Yankee fans will be all upset. Met fans will be happy. It's just the way baseball goes. But let me know in the comments what you think about the Juan Soto thing, because I find it interesting, because it didn't seem right to me. Part of it was the obnoxious Yankee fan thing, like I said earlier. How dare someone go from the Yankees to the Mets? But something didn't feel right about it to me, because he had a great time here. You could see how much of a great time he had here. Career high in home runs, Aaron Judge in the lineup with him, helping him out. And even that comment that he said about not having Aaron Judge in the lineup with him, that didn't really do much to ingratiate him with the Met fans. So it's just interesting. We'll see how things change and how things look once July comes around. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings, reactions to the games. I was having cool conversations with everyone this past weekend. We send out lineups during the season. We send out roster moves and breaking news, so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up next, everyone's favorite subject, Oswald Peraza, not Oswaldo Cabrera, Oswald Peraza versus Anthony Volpe. Have you ever checked your bank account and wondered, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, going out to the movies, it's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, and it gives you visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and I save more. And instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, and you can even plan your long-term goals. And if you have a partner, managing money with them is even smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts. You can set goals, and you can stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. All right, so we have a new way for you to do Fan Mail Friday. If you're new to the show, we have Fan Mail Friday every week. Our insiders get top priority. And on YouTube, you could go to our page, the main page. You scroll over to the posts tab, and you will see this week's post where I tell you where to leave your Fan Mail Friday question and what time the deadline is. I made it Thursday at 5 p.m. once again. Very easy. We got 8 questions last week. It was great. So I teased it. Let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the Oswald Peraza, Anthony Volpe conundrum. Is it a conundrum anymore? Okay. So we're going to go through the numbers. Volpe right now, as it stands, he's batting .235, .323, .422 with 13 doubles, 6 home runs, 25 ribbies in 45 games. That works out to 192 plate appearances. He also has 21 walks to 49 strikeouts, and his B-WAR, according to Baseball Reference, is 1.5. Peraza's numbers, 172, 250, 328 with 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 8 runs batted in 27 games, 64 plate appearances. He has 5 walks, 17 strikeouts. His B-WAR is 0.1. So basically he is a replacement player. He's not really above a replacement player. This is the thing that drives me crazy. And I've talked about this so many times on the show. Everydayers will know that I've been yapping about this basically since the season has began. And I also talked about it last season. I don't like what they did to Oswald Peraza. I'll just say it. Other people feel the same about this as I do. You bring him up in 2022. You thrust him into the playoffs. The whole team wasn't hitting in the playoffs. He made some spectacular defensive plays in the playoffs. And it looked like, okay, you brought this kid up. He proved that he can handle the playoffs, because it wasn't easy going into Houston and playing a game there with the pressure that the Yankees had on them because of all the past things. And obviously the pressure was really a lot because they didn't even win a single game. And then the next spring training, they decide, hey, we're going to have a contest between Anthony Volpe and Oswald Peraza. Anthony Volpe was barely in AAA. He was doing well, and he did well through his rise up through the system. But I don't think it was fair that they decided, instead of giving Peraza a chance and seeing what he does, and then maybe deciding, okay, we'll see what he does, and then deciding maybe to pull it back if he doesn't do well in the regular season. So they have the contest during spring training 2023. Volpe wins. He gets called up. Peraza doesn't. And then Peraza has an up and down AAA experience. He gets injured a few times and things just aren't working out for him. But now that he's with the Yankees, he has no options. He can't go back down to AAA. So he's been with them pretty much the entire year. And he was playing sporadically until May 4th. And he's been playing regularly since May 4th, but he has not risen to the occasion. And he's playing even more now because his best friend, Oswaldo Cabrera, they are best friends. They actually had a dual bobblehead given away at Scranton last season, I want to say. I think it was last season. So now Peraza has the chance to play third base because DJ LeMahieu came back up and he is playing second base in place of Jazz Chisholm. Now, Jazz Chisholm is working his way back quicker than they thought. So what's going to happen with Peraza? Is Peraza going to go back on the bench and DJ LeMahieu go to third base? I'm not sure because DJ was playing second the entire time he was down in Somerset rehabbing. So as I said, Peraza's been playing regularly since May 4th. He has not risen to the occasion. In fact, his numbers have dropped because, as I just told you, he's batting 172. On May 4th, his batting average was 216. So this is the thing that bothers me. Volpe's a good player, right? He has his moments. And he has flashes of brilliance. You know, he'll come up to the plate, he'll have a big hit, it'll be great. And you're like, okay, cool. This kid is good. He should stay up. But Volpe is too up and down for me. And it feels like the Yankees have given him chance after chance after chance to prove himself. And it's like he'll have a good week and then he'll have 3 bad weeks and he'll have another good week and then he'll have 5 bad weeks. And with the up and down, it makes his numbers look more steady, but they're not as steady. I'm not going to kill him for this past series against the Mets. He was only 2 for 12. A lot of the guys didn't hit against the Mets. The Mets have good pitching. They showed it this weekend. I mean, obviously, the Yankees scored late against them on Friday night and on Sunday. But for the most part, the Mets pitching really held them down. So I'm not going to kill him for that. But I will kill him for the really bad at-bats he had in big moments. It was almost like he forgot how to step up because we saw him step up in the World Series against the Dodgers. I don't remember much about the World Series. Thankfully, my brain likes to blur traumatic experiences. So I don't remember much about the World Series anymore. But I do remember Anthony Volpe looking good at the plate. And there were a couple of instances during this weekend where he was up at the plate in a big moment and just was awful. Either swinging at the first pitch after someone walked in front of him or just, I don't know, just looking awful. And he's too up and down for me. And I just don't understand how the Yankees were so gung-ho about the two of these guys. And we know in the past the Yankees have had issues with evaluating players. They hugged these guys, right? The prospect hugging thing that people accuse fans of, the Yankees were doing with Oswald Peraza and Anthony Volpe. They didn't trade them away for anyone that they could have traded them away for to make the team better. The Yankees went into 2025 without an actual third baseman. They decided, okay, we'll play Oswald and Oswaldo and see how that goes. What? So were the Yankees wrong about these two guys? Not necessarily. I think Volpe has a chance to get better. He's still really young. Volpe is still, 23? He's still young. He has a chance to get better. Again, Anthony, I know you're not watching, but I'm going to speak to you like you are. We don't need you to kill the ball. We just need you to get on base and make things happen. Do what Jason Dominguez does. Walk, steal bases, good base running, you know how to do that. Don't try to kill the ball when you're up there and people are on base. Just hit a single. Move the runners over when you're playing extra innings. That's all you got to do. As for Peraza, it almost feels like the Yankees are giving him this chance to play. He's not taking advantage of it. And it's hurting him because out of the two of them, they're going to get rid of Peraza in some way. They're going to they're going to have to trade him because, as I said, he doesn't have options. I don't think that they're going to designate him for assignment and let him go out there for someone to pick him up, the Dodgers, because they pick everyone up. So I just don't know what the solution is here. And as I said at the time, I just don't like the way they treated either one of them, but especially Peraza. I don't think it was fair to him what they did to him 2 seasons ago. I really don't. And it's possible that the Yankees maybe were wrong in their evaluations all along for both of these guys. Maybe this is Anthony Volpe's ceiling. I don't think it is. I hope it's not. I hope that they work with him on certain things because, again, we've seen flashes of the player that Anthony Volpe can be. We just haven't gotten that chance with Oswald Peraza because the Yankees didn't give him the right chance. Now that I've got that off my chest, coming up next, we're going to preview tonight's matchup between the Yankees and the Rangers. So the Yankees welcome the Texas Rangers to town for a 3-game set. Tonight's game 7:05, Wednesday's game is 7:05, Thursday's game is an early 12:35 start because they have to fly out to Colorado for the weekend. So Tuesday night starters, Will Warren against Patrick Corbin. Will Warren is 2-2 with a 4.61 ERA. It's gone down in his last 2 starts. He's looked pretty good in his last 2 starts. Things seem to be coming together. Patrick Corbin also doing well for the Rangers. He had a rough few seasons with Washington, but with the Rangers, he's 3-2 with a 3.35 ERA. In my notes, I say Corbin has been reborn with Texas after a rough time in Washington. And it's true. He's doing so much better this season than he has in the past. And as I said about Warren, he has had 2 good starts in a row. He seems to be putting things together. My big knock on Warren earlier in the season was that he had, like Anthony Volpe, flashes of brilliance where he'd strike a bunch of people out, but he'd also have issues with walking. He'd have issues with getting to 0-2 on someone, giving up a hit, giving up a walk. We'll see how he does against the Texas Rangers lineup. This will be a tough matchup for the Yankees batters this week because after Corbin, you have DeGrom on Wednesday. You have Evaldi on Thursday. You skipped out on Jack Leiter, who did really well in his last start. You miss him this series, but it's possible you see him when you go to Texas. So we'll see how this series goes. It's also funny, though, because sometimes when the Yankees go into series with certain pitching matchups and you expect them, like you see someone with a high ERA, you expect the Yankees to do well and the guy shuts them out. You see someone with a low ERA, you expect them to shut the Yankees out and then the Yankees do well against them. So this could go either way, right? I'm not worried about Yankees pitching. They've been doing really well, honestly, the last few games. They did very well in the Mets series. The only real blemish was the 1 run they gave up late on Saturday. And that was, those games were close until the end. And then the Yankees scored. So I'm not worried about the Yankees pitching. I'm more worried about the offense against Texas pitching. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to look at the comments while I'm here and see how. Okay. Yes, this feels similar. Mark Carpentieri. I hope I said that right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. As someone with a last name that people get afraid of when they see, I try to be careful with other people's last names. He says, didn't they do the same thing with Clint Frazier as they're doing to Peraza? It's similar. Clint Frazier. Oh, man. His head injury really ruined his career. It ruined his career. As we've seen, the Yankees are not great with head injuries because Anthony Rizzo's ended his career because he's not playing And he's going to be doing commentating. I don't remember for which outlet that he's doing commentating for, but he'll be doing that. But yeah, it's similar to Clint Frazier, but I think Clint Frazier was more, the head injury really affected him. If he didn't have a head injury and the Yankees were jerking him around, it would be very similar to what they've done to Peraza. And JD says, if Peraza doesn't do anything between now and the trade deadline, he's gone. Opportunity of a lifetime to succeed. I agree. This is your chance, Oswald. This is it right here. From now until the end of July, early August is your chance to shine, is your chance to prove that they made the wrong decision. Not necessarily the wrong decision, but that they should keep you, right? Because I've said this so many times. I just got distracted by a comment. I'm so sorry. Thought Rizzo was picked up by the Red Sox. He was? I saw last week that he was joining a pre-game or post-game show. Let me know if that Rizzo thing is true, because I didn't hear anything about that. Speaking of the Red Sox, can we talk about the Mets losing to the Red Sox? You guys couldn't even help the Yankees out on Monday night. You had to lose to the Red Sox. Come on. This is the only time that Yankee fans would be rooting for you guys, and you had to blow the game. Hold on, let me see. Because I hadn't seen anything about Anthony Rizzo, but it would be perfect for the Red Sox to pick him up. Let me double check. I don't see anything on Google. Hold on. Well, this is fun, isn't it? Hold on. Oh. That was a couple of weeks ago. He was linked to the Red Sox, but I haven't seen anything about that. But let me know if that's actually true, because the stuff I saw on Google didn't say anything about the Red Sox really picking him up. It was more Ken Rosenthal was linking him to the Red Sox, but we'll see. Oh, Hayden Soto. How are we feeling about Bebas? Do we think you can potentially move him to shortstop or third base? Here's the thing. We mentioned this on yesterday's show. They're having George Lombard Jr. play at third now, because he was primarily a shortstop, and they've had him play third base 2 games in a row. I don't know what that means, because George Lombard Jr. is not coming up anytime soon. The kid's turning 20 in 2 weeks, and he's not doing that great at AA, so he's not ready to come up yet. But it's interesting that they're having him play third base. We also mentioned Jesus Rodriguez, who's a catcher with Scranton, who could possibly also play third base. So the Yankees, it seems like they're making contingency plans in case things don't work out with the third base position. But I'm liking Bebas at second. He's a good eye. And, the ball that he hit to Alonso, if Alonso makes a good throw, there's an out. But I like the at-bat. It's not easy as a kid to come up and have at-bats like that. It takes a while to learn plate discipline. And he's doing a pretty good job of that. So I was impressed. I'm impressed with Bebas. I'm thinking that they're mostly going to play him at second. I think so. And the thing with Peraza is you could play him at third, short, and second. He could play both positions because he's just a very good defensive player, and he's the type of player who adapts to any position. So I think that he should really just make the most of this chance. This is your chance, Oswald. This is it. Oh, so the Red Sox lost their first baseman? I didn't see anything about that because I'm not really paying attention to the Red Sox that much. I'm sorry to say. And yet Pablo Reyes, I'm not sure. Mark is asking, I guess Pablo Reyes is done for with the Yankees. We'll see. I mean, sometimes Boone puts him out in right field for Aaron Judge, which I find extremely hilarious. I don't understand why that is a thing, but Aaron Boone likes to play guys where you don't think they should play. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's just trying to give everyone playing time. So maybe that's what's happening with Pablo Reyes, but he can't hit. He can't hit. And right now, Peraza can't hit, but he's so good defensively that it's understandable that they're putting him in the lineup because it's important to have run prevention on the defense. And I guess that works. If you're not scoring runs, if you're not driving runs in, but you're preventing them from scoring on the fielding side, then I guess you should play. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me for this live edition of Locked On Yankees. And thank you for making it your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And one more time for Fan Mail Friday, go to our page, click on posts. You'll see the post where I say, leave your Fan Mail Friday questions here. And again, the deadline is Thursday at 5 p.m. because we'll be recording a little bit. After that, Brian will be back for Wednesday's edition of the show. And that'll do it for this edition of the show. I'm Stacey Gotsulias, and I will see you tomorrow.